Welcome back to On the Money with financial advisor Ryan Wheelis. For those listening on the radio, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, our continued story of horror stories in retirement, retiring too soon. Is just generally speaking, so the couple was 60 and 62, and there's a lot of folks who still, we can look back at our parents, more likely, like for me, my grandparents, because they did union kind of jobs or they did labor jobs. They did jobs that they had to put their back into it, and they received a pension plan. So the retiring early with air quotes, which is so effective on radio, air quotes. Can we still retire early, or do we have to kind of let 60, 62, 63 go and think that the early is maybe on time at 65?
Spike, the age, within reason, it's kind of a moot point, right? I mean, you've got some caveats. You've got age 59 and a half to where you could access IRAs and 401ks. Usually you have to separate from employment to get a pension if you're going to get one. Sometimes there's limitations as far as age goes, 60, 62, 66, whatever the number is. Then you've got Social Security, right? 62, 67, 70. And I don't know if I mentioned Medicare or not. You can't
no, not yet. Oh, well, yeah. So let's explain
65.
the Medicare gap there. So,
well, if you retire at 60 and your employer does not provide you health insurance coverage, you're in the gap. Gap is from 60 to 65. When you go on Medicare. So you've got 5 years, you've got to cover your health care, right? There's a lot of ways you can do that. There's plenty of private insurance. You can go to the Affordable Care Act. Sometimes if you drop your income low enough, you might even be able to apply for a subsidy and get it, right? There's lots of ways to do it. But it can also mean that something like in Bob's case, you need a knee surgery, and that would have cost him $14,000 unexpectedly out of pocket. What could he have done? Let his knee rot until he was 65, but that's the way to live, retirement, right? So the bottom line is what it all comes down to is that, so many people think that they have saved enough for retirement. Mm-hmm. And that's not the most important part. You see, Spike, when you are getting to the point where you're thinking about retirement, there's in the back of your mind, or back of your neck, this little twinge. And that twinge is you're running out of time. It's that simple. And you're tired of working every day for your money, and you want your money to start working with you. You want it to work for you in a way to where you get to enjoy the time you have left mm-hmm. on God's green earth, right? You're running out of time. And all money is a tool that allows you to enjoy the time you have left. But that's only part of the story. How are you going to spend your time budget? What are you going to spend? What are you going to do? Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? What are you doing to deal with the psychological and emotional factors of not being the engineer at Exxon for the last 35 years, where you were well known, respected, went to work every day, had social settings, camaraderie, mm-hmm. all those things that you lose once you retire, right? How are you going to deal with that? And once you've got that stuff designed, then we can start backing into the financial aspects of it.
What are so let's give some examples then. Let's go back to our Bob and Linda here. What are some of the things that he tried to do to fill his time that he thought was going to be fulfilling for him in retirement, and how did that sit with the wife? Were they on the same page as far as activities?
Well, he spent money on golf clubs and went to join a country club and decided that he hated golf because he sucked at it. Which, so do 98% of the golfers out there, by the way, and then he tried to get into drone flying and hobbies, right? And the next thing you know, he's spending a lot of money on these hobbies and has a guest bedroom in his house full of all his toys and driving Linda nuts, and Linda just wants her house back. So ultimately what they did is they realized that there was some part of retirement that was missing, and it was the sense of purpose. So Bob actually went and got a job at a Ace Hardware store.
Oh, my dad's. I was. I'm going to get my dad Ace Hardware T-shirts for 30, 40 years. My dad can kick around in a hardware store, and I've always said, Dad, if you're bored in retirement, you should work part time at Ace Hardware. He just loves it. He's like, everything you need is there at an Ace Hardware. He's kicking around. So he's doing something, and he probably feels good because he's helping people. Because when somebody like me walks in, I go, "Can you tell me where I find this?"
Well, here's what else. He's working full time at Ace Hardware, or enough time to get health insurance coverage. So brilliant way to do that. So he's got time, and Linda's doing some online math tutoring stuff, bringing in a little bit of money.
Great.
But it's less about the money. It's more in this case about fulfillment and the insurance and that sort of thing. They didn't have a plan when they moved into retirement. So we had to put them on a plan. And they didn't approach a financial advisor, but they thought it was all about dollars and cents. But when they found us, we were like, hey guys, we have to deal with the emotional aspects and psychological aspects of moving into retirement and answering the question of what you're going to do with your time and how you're going to deal with the transition from being the professional, doing whatever you do, into no longer being that and being retired. And I can think of one would be an airline pilot, for instance. Spike, we're really good at removing the complexities of airline pilots having to retire at age 65. It's a mandatory thing. Okay. My dad's one, by the way. And so it's, how do you deal with that, right? Because all of a sudden you flew 747s and yesterday was your last flight. You don't do that anymore. I mean, there's just a passion I have for aviation, and I can't imagine that being my job, and I'll just stop doing that, right? So how do you deal with that kind of stuff? And, that's the most important part. But once it comes down to getting that stuff understood and dealt with, then we move into the financial aspect. So
that's what I wanted to ask you. Yeah. Where do we go from there?
Well, it's like, look, man, it's like, okay, Bob got concerned because his money was all in the stock market. All right. And he was depending on that money to fund his lifestyle. So he's taking a distribution out of his portfolio of about 5% a year and waiting on Social Security. Now, he was doing a little bit more than that because he knew Social Security would kick in later. He was actually taking about 7.5% out. When the COVID crash happened, he had 30% less money. And he's like, wow, if I take the same amount of money out, that impact of that downward market is going to hurt me even more. So that's the first thing we share with him is, look, man, you've got to have, in essence, 2 buckets of money. You have to have a green bucket of money. Your green bucket is where your income that you need to sustain your lifestyle comes from. It comes into the household regardless of what happens to the stock market, the economy, or interest rates. Now, some of that stuff is guaranteed if you want it to be. Some of it's not. Some has lower risk, like private credit funds that we use. You can also a dividend paying stock portfolio. You can also use bonds. A lot of different ways to skin that cat, but you should have long-term income that's basically at least contractually guaranteed in some points, or has a historic sustainability of paying a certain amount of interest through dividends or ordinary income interest, and it's just there. And then the other money you have over here for your risk bucket, that should be in the markets. We need long-term growth. We want to leave a legacy. We want to fight inflation. We want to have some money out there so that if we hear, our buddy is in the stock market at the golf course and he's just made all his money last year, you don't want to miss out on that, right? So you do have some money out there. If the market goes up, you make a lot of money, right? But not all of your money should be invested the exact same way. So we deal with that. We build a comprehensive income plan that allows them to go out into the world and spend money with confidence, even though the stock market may be down 30%. All right. The next thing we got to do is we have to attack tax efficiency. Every dollar in most cases that you spend in retirement is 100% taxable at ordinary income tax rates. So if you have a 401k rolled over to an IRA, and now you're using that IRA to provide income, every dollar is taxable. So if you have a dollar coming in, your tax rate's 20%. That's 20 cents that goes to the IRS. Well, that means there's 20 cents in that dollar less available for you to spend and financial lifestyle with. So if I can reduce that 20 cents down to 12 cents, maybe even 10 cents, cut it in half even in some cases, would your money last longer? Could you enjoy retirement more? So we really attack the tax efficiency aspects of getting the money out of the retirement accounts into their checking account so they pay less to Uncle Sam and get to enjoy more of the money they've worked their whole life for.
Ryan, we got bottom of the hour here on the radio on our YouTube channel here. Keep clicking along. We're going to talk about taxes, what you need to be aware of from the new announcements right now. But 844-944-7555 is the phone number for you to call to get your free portfolio review, your portfolio x-ray. Are you going to come up shallow of the runway on your retirement because you're trying to retire too early? Don't do that. Have a plan in place. But maybe 60-62 is totally fine. You do need to have a plan in place. You can get that started at no cost right now. Text us the word plan. Go to your text feature in your phone. Type in plan. And then 21000. 21000. Hit send on that. We'll reach out to you and schedule an appointment. More with Ryan Wheelis of Allied Wealth and On the Money right after this.